By the 16th century and by the early 17th century, the history of Beychevelle is marked by the Duc d'Epernon, who was Grand Amiral de France. It is important to headline that the chateau itself is slightly younger than this period. The chateau dates back to the middle of the 18th century, by 1757, according to our archives, built over an older chateau of a medieval style, then accompanied by Chartreuse Bordelaise, a local type of charming house built on one floor with two gables. Then, a century later, a wing was added on its northern face, the owner at that time finding the building a bit too narrow, with many pleasant rooms. Beychevelle was thus at that time a great estate hardly ever inhabited by its owners, as they mostly used it on summer holiday, and offering a beautiful view of what we named the river, which is in fact the Garonne, located 1,000 meters away from here. Boats sailing by Beychevelle, as it literally means lower the sails, used to lower their sails in order to swear allegiance to the lord of this estate, the Duc d'Epernon. They may have as well been compelled to pay a little something for the passage. So are the history and the meaning of Beychevelle. This symbol of a ship with a half lower sail is also iconic and very famous. Some of our customers, for instance the northerners, see a drakkar, the Viking longship. We're always delighted to answer them, why not? My Chinese friends, on the other hand, consider it as a dragon-headed boat. We are thus delighted that everyone sees his own interpretation, and to satisfy everybody thanks to its label and to this renowned name. Maturation is the second step, but very important in the life of our wines. After a relatively short period of roughly 3 months and a half spent in vats, our wines are taken out of these vats to live a long period from 16 to 18 months in oak barrels. During this phase, numerous exchange will occur, in between the wood and the wine, as well as in between the air and the wine. Despite the serenity of these cellars, there is a lot of hard work in these maturing periods, when we have to be particularly attentive. For example, we make several rackings, controls, topping ups. Look at these barrels with their glass bones during the initial phase. So with a little patience, a little time and some hard work, we will lead the wine to an interesting quality and requirement level. When tasted, one can always feel a family likeness, vintage after vintage. So the question about the Beychevelle signature remains coherent. In a word, I would say we try to obtain in our wines some present but elegant tannic frames, with no rusticity and guaranteeing the length. In the end, this approach generates some wines that appeal to consumers, pleasing the feminine wine drinkers as well, thanks to their sensual and not aggressive character, based on fine, ripe and elegant tannins. I have just opened a 2007 that is truly delightful. Globally speaking, wherever you may be on earth, whether in France, in China or in London, people have a rather shy approach to this vintage. But once tasted, they surprisingly realize that the 2007 is better indeed than what they initially thought. so it is interesting to taste it. Our advice on a Beychevelle 2007 is to wait for it another 4 to 5 years. In fact, drinking it in 2011 or 2012 is acceptable. This vintage will be drunk before the 2006, which is far more structured and of a fuller body, and even before the great 2005.